Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to Live Out Loud with Jason on this beautiful day. I'm so glad you've joined me today. Wow, living out loud. What is it not? What does living out loud not mean? It means not being loud and obnoxious. It means not stepping on people, rolling over people, or taking advantage of people. Because if you live out loud that way, you're not going to live out loud very long, because you're never going to make any allies doing that. Living out loud, there's a humility element in living out loud. Let's talk about what it is. Living out loud is discovering your God-given talents, skills, the seeds, the gifts that you've been given, and developing those, or dusting those off, or watering them, and being courageous in taking small steps of action moving forward, and beginning to serve your purpose to its fullest, not wasting any of your calling, not wasting any of the things that you've been given in life. And hey, there's Mom again. Hey, Mom, I love it when you tune in. You are such an encouragement to me. Thank you so much. So I want to picture two scenarios. The first scenario is this. Think about what you're wanting to do as your next step, or where you're wanting to go. And again, this could be moving forward in your calling, in your family, your relationships, your health, your skills, your career, a season in your life. It could be any of that. Okay, so let's talk about. Let's picture two scenarios. One scenario is this. You take that next step, that little step that you're hesitant to take right now. Again, it could be a phone call, it could be a doing something, it could be a pruning something out of your life, it could be learning something, it could be putting yourself out there at risk of embarrassment, right? Or at risk of failure. If you did that, and you succeeded, what's the very best thing that could happen if you did that? The very best thing. So think about that. What would life be like if you did that thing? Okay, so now let's say you did that thing and you failed. What's the very worst thing that could happen? So you could lose time, you could lose money, you could lose respect, you could be embarrassed, you could skin your knee, all these other little things, right? But what's the most likely thing that would happen? You know, what's the most likely thing that would happen? Okay? If you didn't do that next step, what's the best thing that would happen? What's the worst thing that could happen? And if you didn't take that step, what's the most likely thing that's going to happen? And figure that out. You know, what's at risk here if I move forward or stay put? That's really the question. What is at risk here? One of the risks is you're never going to move up, move forward, live out loud, become all that you can be. And you'll end up with, wasted potential, destiny, opportunity, enjoyment, fulfillment, and if you don't put yourself out there and risk being, let's just say, hurt in some way, you're never going to advance. There's not that I'm aware of, I don't think there's ever been a baseball player that hit the ball and got on base every single time. Yeah, probably more strikeouts, right, than hits. So don't be afraid of failure. Do not be afraid of failure. See failure as obstacles in your path to your success, to your living out loud. Failure can teach you, failure can strengthen you, and failure can forge you. Keep moving. And truly, in all honesty, it's a learning experience, and it's not failure until you stop. I want to encourage you, friends, stay with it. Don't stop. When you know you're headed in the right direction, and you know deep in your heart that's what you need to do, I want to encourage you to stick with it, okay? So, by the way, I believe that breakthrough in our lives, I believe that breakthrough in our lives begins with a breakthrough in our beliefs. I'm going to say that again. Breakthrough in your life begins with a breakthrough in your beliefs, because the beliefs feed the mindset and the habits and the conscious actions and the results, okay, and creates the reality. It all starts with the belief. So if something's not going right, there's a good chance that you have a belief problem, okay? And do you find yourself making excuses for your current situation? You know, sometimes excuses that we make excuses to make ourselves feel better. And you know, excuses why other people are doing it and we're not. Again, they're lucky. They had a better upbringing. They had more opportunities. They had better parents. They had money. They were in a better school. Or name it. Guess what? It doesn't matter. You were dealt the hand you were dealt. And it's up to you what you do with it. It's up to you what you do with it. It's up to me what I do with it. And friends, I just want to encourage you. Grab it. Go get it. You can do it. So there's this term everybody's heard, hey, reboot your computer. Boot up your computer. You know, what does that term, boot your computer, reboot your computer? What does it really mean? And what that term comes from is the way that a computer starts up is it has an operating system that has to start itself. And that term came from literally from grabbing yourself and pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps. That's what it is about. The computer it's wild how it all turns on. And sometimes we've just got to take the initiative and get going. Take the initiative and get going. You know, one of the things I'm sure you've experienced this before. You know, you've been working out and you're sore, right? And so me and Josiah, we're doing this workout where every muscle confusion. So every few weeks it changes around, and all of a sudden your muscles where you had gotten in a groove, the workout switch, and you're working your muscles different, and you get sore. And so when over the last week, when I sit still too long, and then I go to get up, I'm like, oh man, it hurts to get up. So to get still, it hurts to get moving again, right? But once I'm up and moving, I'm fine. But it takes to get up because like, oh man, I better help myself up here. And I want to encourage you in whatever situation, wherever you're trying to live out loud. Again, your health, your relationships, your serving, your career, whatever it is. Sometimes it's a little bit painful to get started. It's okay. Go get started. Embrace the pain. Smash the pain. Bust through the pain. Break through it. Okay. All right. So. By the way, there's something called, I want to show this to you. There is something called a sunk cost fallacy. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. The sunk cost fallacy. And what does that mean? The fear of loss, listen to this, the fear of loss is greater than the desire for gain. And there's been a lot of studies done that says, where they took groups of people, divided them up, and these people over here, what would they go through to earn $100? And this other group, what would they go through to avoid losing $100? And the group of people that was trying to avoid would do more to avoid losing the 100 than the opportunity group would to gain $100. And so the fear of loss really is greater than the desire for gain. And it's like people that are hoarders, they feel like they're losing something if they get rid of stuff. I want to show you this real quick. Here is, this says, I'm a man of my word. Once I've made a wrong decision, I stick to it. So think about that for a second. Have you made a wrong decision, but you're so invested in it? Maybe you realize you're in the wrong career. Maybe you realize that you're with the wrong group of friends, in a wrong environment, wrong habits, and you're so invested and you've bought into it, but you know deep in your heart that it's the wrong thing. We have this desire internally to be consistent when we with our previous decisions. Okay, and the problem with that is it can get us in trouble because we don't accurately judge, should we still be doing this? So on one hand, I believe in perseverance when you know you're doing the right thing. But sometimes we need to evaluate and say, look, I've been on this path, I've been in this or out this for this amount of time, I've got so much invested. Is it still the right thing to do? Is it still the right thing to do? It's kind of like saying, hey, I bought 5 lottery tickets and none of them won, but I'm going to buy one more because that one's going to be the winner, right? Does that make sense? And so don't be afraid to make a tough decision to change your course, to change your path. Don't be afraid of that, okay? Don't be a victim of the sunk cost fallacy. It's okay to realize you've made a bad decision. Admit your bad decision. Correct your bad decision with a good decision, okay? By the way, I tend to use this term a lot. I say, a lot of times people are living on a drug, and the drug that they're living on is a drug called hopium. Hopium, and hopium is not a plan. Okay, now don't get me wrong. I believe in hope. Okay, hope and hopium are not the same thing. Hopium is a drug where it just says, well, I just hope it's gonna get better. I hope this comes through. I hope so-and-so shows up. I hope God does this. I hope this passes through. Okay, that's hopium. That's not a plan. You know what that is? That's fear and laziness. Hope, whenever you have true hope, you have optimism. And with that optimism comes action that supports that and begins to pave the way even for the thing you're hoping for. And they work in harmony and unison, your beliefs and your actions. And then when you do that, it creates a marvelous, what's the word I'm looking for? Honestly, synergy between what God wants to do in your life and what you're believing and what your actions are drawing you towards. All of that, okay? So consider, am I over here smoking hopium, or am I really filled with hope and optimism and an expectation of a good and pleasant future? If you don't have expectation of a great future, then chances are you have a belief system at the bottom, and it starts with God and then with you. And if you believe within your heart that God truly does have good plans for a future and a hope for you, then that's going to leak out into every other and grow and produce fruit in all other areas of your life, friends. So, okay, so let's. Hopium. Yeah. I hope. I want you to be inspired. I want you to be inspired to dig into God's word, to read what it says about you. I want you to be inspired to get alone and get quiet and write down what you want out of life, what you want in the next season of life. If you could do it over again, what are some decisions you would make differently over the last season? And learn from those, and then begin to direct your attention, direct your actions towards your calling, towards your gifts, and become and develop those areas of awesomeness that you were created to be. No one else can be you except you, and you can't be an awesome anyone else. The only awesome person you will ever have a chance of being is the awesome you that God made you. So I want you to embrace the awesome you. I want you to find your roar, find your jungle, okay? And I want you to find your confidence. And don't you want to live a life that's fulfilling? Gosh, when you're doing something that you're made for, it's so much more fulfilling. It's so much more fun. You get into the flow state and you just roll and you get a lot of awesome things done, and it's so fulfilling, and it's wonderful when you can discover that. And the sooner in life that you can discover what you're made for, the better it will be. Okay, friends? That's all I've got for you today. I just want to encourage you, and if I can help you in any way, please reach out to me. Please do like and share this. Share this with someone else who could use a word of encouragement. Everybody needs a dose of encouragement, whether you think it or not. Everybody needs a dose of encouragement. So God bless you. Have an amazing, amazing Wednesday, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye now.